Whoa, what up, Bolts Nation? Listen up, because we got some insane news dropping, and I'm telling you, it is spicy. We've got a major name just popping up on the injury report out of nowhere, and that's got the entire fan base on red alert. Yeah, we're sweating bullets about this offense. Meanwhile, some crazy analysts out there cooked up a bold trade proposal that has the Chargers smack in the middle of a legit rumor involving an elite wide receiver. But hold up, the chatter doesn't stop there. We're also diving into a possible trade that could finally fix this hot mess in our backfield. And to cap it all off, there's a scenario that would make any offensive fan just absolutely lose their minds. A star tight end potentially landing in Los Angeles. And seriously, this last rumor, it gives me chills. But before we break down this whole saga, let me hit you with a quick one. Smash that subscribe button. It's free, and it helps this blue and gold community huge. While you're at it, hit that like button to spread the Bolt pride, and of course, drop a comment. I want to know how you are feeling about the state of the Chargers right now because, man, it is intense. The first bomb of the week dropped like a ton of bricks. Quentin Johnston showed up on the injury report, and it had everyone freaking out. The dude who's been silencing the critics, proving that whole bust label is way in the rearview mirror, is now dealing with a hamstring issue. And it's hitting us right when Justin Herbert's offense is already hurting with a beat-up O-line. Come on, man, you can feel the tension. Nobody wants to imagine this offense without its main wideout right now. During the last practice, Johnston was off to the side working with the trainers. Officially, he's listed as questionable for the Miami game. That word sounds harmless, but the reality is it means a 50-50 shot at playing, and for a soft tissue injury, that's heavy. Hamstrings are the worst, man. Push too hard, it gets worse. Hold back too much, you lose your rhythm. So the Chargers are in a major bind. The wild part is Johnston has zero history of serious injuries, which is why the shock was even bigger. And when news like this breaks late in the week, it's usually a sign that something is not 100%. If he actually sits out, the rotation is going to change completely. Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen will have to carry the entire passing game, and the rookie Tre Harris could get some valuable snaps. Keep an eye on him if you like watching who might surprise us. The problem is the bench is thin. Darius Davis, who would be the immediate backup, is already ruled out. To plug the hole, the team brought Jalen Reagor back to the practice squad. We also got Jaquay Jackson and Luke Grimm, but let's be real, none of those guys have the impact of a Johnston on the field. To be straight with you, the fan base is split. Some say hold him out for a week to prevent a relapse, and others think without him, the offense just stalls. It's that balance between he has to play and better safe than sorry. If I had to bet, I'd say he tries to go, but all signs point to limited usage, maybe more of a decoy than a playmaker. Either way, the air is thick with anxiety, because without Johnston, Herbert loses his deep threat and the offense loses its vertical punch. So, get this. If he doesn't play, the entire offensive plan has got to change in 48 hours. Just watch. And just when we thought the rumors were going to let up, here comes a bombshell that's got the fan base losing its collective mind. The Sporting News dropped the Chargers on a list of potential destinations for none other than A.J. Brown. You kidding me? Yes, the same three-time All-Pro Super Bowl champion wide receiver who is now wrapped up in some drama over there in Philly. Just hearing the name makes your heart race, but hold on, it's not that simple. Their argument is actually pretty convincing. Even with McConkey, Keenan Allen, and Johnston, we're missing that true field stretcher, that dominant one-on-one receiver. And let's be honest, Brown would fit into Harbaugh's system like a glove. Imagine him and Herbert together, that's insane. But to be honest with y'all, the team's current situation doesn't need luxury, it needs fixing. The offensive line is crying for help, and the running game is just pure improv. So, spending draft capital on a wideout, no matter how monstrous, seems like a pipe dream. Still, the rumor gained traction, and it wasn't just some random website throwing out bait. This talk came with tactical analysis, numbers, and context. A.J. Brown is frustrated with his reduced role in the Eagles' offense. Only 25 catches, 274 yards so far. For a guy who's been an offensive focal point, that's practically an insult. The team dropped to 4-2, and he's clearly unhappy. Result, the insiders started speculating about a trade. Now, think with me. If the Chargers actually got in on this, our receiver room would be one of the most feared in the NFL. Allen in the slot, McConkey on the move, Johnston exploiting the short routes, and Brown as the deep threat monster. Just picturing it has the fans dreaming of big plays, but the cost would be steep, probably a second-round pick or even more. The fan base is divided. Half of them love the idea, the other half think it would be a huge mistake considering what else needs fixing on offense, and seriously, the fan base is demanding some common sense too. What's the point of stacking talent if the team can't protect the quarterback? The craziest part is that this kind of rumor coming this early in the season is rarely a coincidence. Where there's smoke, there's usually some serious backroom chatter, and you know how it is. When insiders start repeating the same name, someone inside the franchise usually planted the seed. Too early to say if it'll happen. But listen, if A.J. Brown wears the blue and gold, the SoFi Stadium is going to rattle. And hold this thought. The next rumor involves a very different kind of reinforcement, but maybe even more urgent. Okay, now we're changing positions, but not the urgency. Because seriously, the Chargers' backfield is screaming for help. After Najee Harris's brutal injury and the ankle sprain that sidelined rookie Omarion Hampton, the team is basically down to Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal, and neither of them was anyone's plan A. The reality is the running game is all improvised, and that never ends well. So here's the rumor of the day. Jaylen Wright, the Dolphins running back, might be on his way out of Miami. The guy was a 4th-round pick in 2024, and get this, he hasn't touched the ball in 5 weeks. 5. He's healthy, fast, talented, and completely glued to the bench. His name popped up on the Chargers' radar as a possible gamble to give the offense a jolt. And it makes sense. Wright has 4.38 speed, that kind of explosive burst that can change a drive in one play. In college, he already showed that home run player style, ready to cut and just disappear into the open field. Plus, he's got good hands, something Harbaugh loves in his running backs. So even as a gamble, he's got upside. The article from Sayer Bettinger at NFL Spin Zone nails it. The Chargers should act before another team does. He names the Chiefs and Cardinals as direct competitors, and seriously, seeing Wright end up in Kansas City would be a collective nightmare. So, if they're going to risk it, they better do it now. To be straight with you, the fans are stuck between two feelings: the fear of bringing in yet another project and the hope of finding a forgotten gem. And you can't blame anyone. Los Angeles has seen this movie before, with gambles that paid off and others that vanished after 2 games. But the current situation doesn't allow for luxury. The offense needs an RB who can catch passes, relieve the pressure on Herbert, and on top of that, keep defenses honest. The female fans have been driving the debate too, and they're right. We lack consistency, we lack confidence in the ground game. Bringing in Wright would be more than just reinforcement, it would be a sign that the front office is alive, trying to react. Now there's a detail that makes all this even more interesting. Wright's contract is cheap, and he has 2 years left after 2025, meaning it's not a rental, it's an investment. If he pans out, he's a piece of the future. So if this rumor is confirmed, you can mark it down. The Chargers change their running game in a flash. But hold on, the next name on the list is even bigger, and it's for another part of the offense. And to finish, check out this one because it's worthy of an explosion on social media. A mock trade sending Kyle Pitts to the Chargers. That's right, the Falcons tight end, that absurd talent who always seems on the verge of breaking out, might be packing his bags for Los Angeles. And man, this is one of those trades that changes a franchise's entire offense. The scenario is this: the Falcons send Pitts to LA in exchange for a 2026 4th-round pick. Cheap? For a guy with his ceiling, that's practically a steal, and it makes sense for everyone. Atlanta is 2-2 outside the playoff picture and about to lose the player for nothing at the end of the season. The Chargers, desperate for a tight end who can actually produce, would be getting the best one since the Antonio Gates era. Pitt's numbers help explain the hype. 205 yards, 20 receptions, 1 touchdown in 4 games. Keeping that pace, he'd finish the year with something close to 870 yards. Not bad for someone surviving in an inconsistent offense. And honestly, with Justin Herbert throwing to him, the sky is the limit. Harbaugh loves exploiting dynamic tight ends. He did it in college with Colston Loveland, and before that with Vernon Davis on the Niners. It's the kind of fit that seems obvious. In reality, he'd arrive to be the immediate TE1. Tyler Conklin, Oronde Gadsden II, and Will Dissly would be relegated to secondary roles. And of course, this shifts the wideout rotation. Allen, McConkey, and Johnston would lose some targets, but the collective gain would be enormous. With Pitts over the middle of the field, defenses would have to choose between doubling him or covering the deep routes. Good luck. And there's more. The emotional impact. The fans are already picturing SoFi absolutely vibrating with that Pitts shout after a midfield TD. Even the female fans have been praising the rumor. They say the offense would become more balanced, more intelligent, and let's be real, it's hard to disagree. To be straight with y'all, this trade would be one of the smartest moves of the Harbaugh era. Low risk, high return, and if it actually goes down, it's the kind of move that sends a message to the entire league. The Chargers are playing to win now, but hold up, it's not over, because after all this, there's only one feeling. This team is turning into a roller coaster of emotions. At the end of the day, all this just shows how much the Chargers live on a razor's edge. A team that promises so much but always seems one step away from becoming a headline, for better or for absolute chaos. Johnston on the physical brink, rumors of massive trades, and a front office still trying to prove they're in control. And honestly, sometimes I think this uncertainty is what keeps us so hooked. Because being a Chargers fan is this: emotion without warning, hope mixed with risk. So comment below, do you still believe this roster can turn things around? I'm telling you, I haven't been able to give up yet.